Welcome back to the Makers Gonna Learn Unfiltered podcast. On today's episode, I have Ashlee Falco, Instagram influencer, YouTuber, Etsy shop expert with over 26,000 sales, and she even has her very own line of cardstock, which is the Makers Gonna Learn favorite cardstock. We'll link it down below and give you a coupon code, which is so nice of Ashlee and her team. This interview is unlike any we've done before. She is so incredible, and I think you're going to really, really enjoy this episode. But before we dive in, I want to make sure that you are enrolled in my live training workshop series. I'm teaching the same workshop 4 times. It's called 5 Secrets to Making Money Crafting, even if you haven't sold before. I'm only doing it 4 times. You have to show up live. That's how you get the best intel, all the details, and the Q&A. I've linked it right down below. All right, my friends, I want you to claim your spot. I can't wait to see you at the training series. But again, you're going to be blown away getting to meet Ashlee. So go ahead and enjoy this episode of the Makers Gonna Learn Unfiltered podcast. Ashlee, welcome to the Makers Gonna Learn Unfiltered podcast. We're so excited to have you. I don't even know where to begin introducing you to the show. There's so much we could kick off. So why don't you just share how do you describe yourself? Like, welcome.
Hello, thank you. I am Ashlee Falco. I don't have like a name or anything I go by. I just want to be me. And that is just who I am. Before last month, I called myself a professional crafter, and that's just who I am. I just dive into everything, and
Okay.
I like woodwork and everything. But within the month, I was watching this baking show on Netflix, and it was like all about engineers, and these engineers had laser cutters and Cricuts and all this stuff, and I was like, I'm an engineer. So now my new job title is I'm an engineer in the crafting community.
I love it. I mean, honestly, for you and everything that you've done, you're truly like an engineer. I love that. You're like an extraordinaire. I wouldn't want to call you a paper engineer. I do personally not feel like I'm an engineer. You are an engineer. I have got to see your work. If you guys did not know, on New Year's, every year we give out little awards to just some of our members, different highlights. And Ashlee has been the one to develop and create our amazing awards. And that is truly like totally engineered. So I love that.
The very first time that it was your wife that reached out to me, and she was like, I need these awards. And I'm like, okay. I have no idea. She reached out to me on Instagram. Her profile's all private out. I have no idea who she is. And I'm like, sure. So I designed something. She's like, well, I kind of wanted something different. I'm like, okay. So we did something different. And then I had posted like a behind the scenes on Instagram, like on my story. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, do you know who you're making those for? I'm like, I don't have any idea. I don't. Like, I really don't. And they're like, that's Tanner. And I'm like, who's Tanner? Like, wait a minute. And everyone was fangirling for me. And I was like, whoa. And at that point, I was like, oop, do I need to redo this work? You are a big deal.
Do I need to? Ashlee, no, I'm not a big deal. You're a big deal. Like, that's so cool. Like, oh my gosh. I just do the same thing every day. One of my questions, which we'll get to, is how you grew like so much on Instagram, like how you grew. And I was like, you know what? What if it's the same way I grew on YouTube, which is just like showing up every day? I'm like that's like, I think that's the secret. Like, we all just show up and some people decide to hang out. The viewers love it and decide to be a part of it. So you are an engineer. You have so many machines. I mean, we see the Cricut machines behind you. How did we get here? Like, can we just go back a little bit and tell us how you've been able to become an engineer? You are living out your passion. You have 2 companies that are so successful. How do we even get started?
Okay, so I am going to start off with, I feel like I'm the grandma of the group. It's like, not that I've been around for so many years. My son turns 11 in August, and I opened up my Etsy shop shortly after that. So in November. That's 11 years that I've been doing this, and I've been cricketing for 11 years.
Wow.
And it has been a long thing. The reason why I had started my Etsy shop to begin with was I had my son. He was a NICU baby, a preemie, a lot of postpartum depression and my anxiety, and I had ended up losing my job. And at that point, we were a 2-income household, and I lost my job, and we needed to figure it out. And so I had made a couple random things, and my mother-in-law, and I call her my mother-in-law, she had an Etsy shop that my husband knew about, and he was like, oh, my mom sells on Etsy. And I'm like, I have never even heard of that. And he was like, I don't know, she makes like $500 a month. And I was like, okay. So he opened it up for me, and I just started selling on Etsy. And then it was essentially showing up every single day. I knew that I couldn't go back to work because of my postpartum depression and anxiety. And so I needed to help support the family. And so I just started selling party decorations. I dabbled around in vinyl a little bit and HTV. I've realized that I am not that type of crafter, and there's like a little space for everyone. And paper crafts is where it was out for me. And really it was the party decoration sector, just because like I love making kids smile. That is like my absolute favorite thing. So I did that for, gosh, I mean, I'm still
okay. Hold on. We have to pause. We have to pause.
Okay.
I have to ask, because the number one question I get when I'm coaching and training people on how to like pick a niche, like people get very torn up when I start talking about like, okay, you're at this part in your business where you get to pick your niche and like what you specialize in. And for a lot of us, it comes very natural. How did you know not only paper, but party? Because that's pretty specific.
It is. It's really specific. So for me, I've always wanted to do something that I love. I didn't want, like, it's like I did a cup, like I put like a decal on a cup, and like I was mad the entire time of doing the decal on the cup, and I was using all those sentences.
You're like, this isn't why I'm selling my crafts.
Right. Like, and this, like, I don't want to come to work every day. If this is something that I am building from the ground up, I want to come to work every single day happy and leaving going, wow, like, oh my gosh, I created this. And at the end of the day, like doing decals on a t-shirt didn't make me happy. Doing decals, for wall decals didn't make me happy. But it was making my kids' own decorations for their parties, or like wedding invites for friends or whatever, that made me happy, And so I'm like, back when I first started selling party decorations, there was Party City, which is like a huge, big box thing. And then there was maybe 3 or 4 Etsy sellers that were doing party decorations. I mean, it was like no one was doing it. And everyone, when I told them that I was going to do that, they're like, does that make money? And I'm like, I don't know, but like, you know what? I sure hope so, So at that point, it was like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it and I'm going to love it. Now, I do feel like today, I'm like growing to love other crafts. And I feel like I am not a specialty in those, like hands down, I could say my paper crafts is where it's at. You can see the most love and the most design work and everything else like that is in the paper crafts. And I just try and I really want to be like an expert in all the fields. So I just put my little toes in all the little things, and then you just, find what speaks to you. But no matter what, even like 11 years later, paper for me is where it's at.
So Ashlee, it's so fascinating. It sounds like to me that when you were picking your niche, it was 100% focused on the result of doing something you loved. Were you selling any sort of paper items in your shop before you decided that you're a party seller? Or did you say, you know what? Everybody else is making t-shirts, everybody else is making cups. Like, I got to just focus on me over here. and what I am like really drawn towards. And you created demand for it, or was it kind of like your outlier? Was it already selling really well?
So initially, it was definitely, and I see that a lot in new Etsy shop owners or small crafters, is they're like trying to like pick, right? And it's like we don't know what we like. You know, when you go to
Yeah.
college and you change your degree 8 times, you know, it's kind of that same thing when you're starting out. You're just changing, and then eventually, I have always been, I'm going to sell what I want to sell. A lot of my party decorations that are in my
Yeah.
shop are themes that people don't generally sell that I like to make and people end up buying. So I have always just been the person to just stay true to who I want and like what I want to make and stuff. So initially it was definitely like, do I like this? I can sell it because it looks good. Or do I like this? I can sell it. It looks good. And then eventually I just got tired. Like, I don't really want to make cups. I really like making party decorations. It's at that point, it still wasn't selling very well, but I'm like, look, I'm
Yeah.
either going to go back to work or I'm going to have to figure this out. And so I just took everything off that wasn't party related and then just started from there. I think that was like year 2.
No. Okay. So it took you. See, a lot of people are coming up and they think they're going to figure this out overnight. They think they're going to figure this out in the weekend.
Well, I hope that they do.
2 years, guys.
I really do hope that they figure it out really quick. It was, you know, I'm very stubborn. I'm very headstrong, and I feel like I'm like, oh, I can make that better. But like, do I really enjoy making it? Not really, you know? So it does take a while. It did take a while for me to figure it out and go, okay, I'm going to stay in my lane and I'm going to do what I like to do, because in turn, what ends up happening is like, I love my party decorations. And other people can see that through the pictures. They're like, oh my gosh, she loves her stuff. Okay. But like, if I'm just doing like odds and ends of things that I don't really care about, people are going to see that.
Right. So how did it go? How did you make it full time? Like that's like the 100, like everyone's journey to going full time.
So kind of like what you had said about YouTube, you showed up every single day. I showed up every single day. It was the hustle. My husband worked like 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I was doing the same at home. I was putting in the work. Now, I don't suggest anyone doing that. Don't overwork yourself, but I did because I wanted it to work. When I first
You wanted it so bad.
You know, when I first got the taste of, could this work? Could I actually make, initially it was like a $500. I just needed like $500 to pay for groceries and, you know, and like I got to that mark and I'm like, okay, I got to that mark. And then there was another mark and I'm like, could this be like, could I make this a full-time job? And at some point in time, it was like, I'm going to make this a full-time job. And so that's what I set out. And I feel like, you know, looking back at like my husband's career, he showed up every single day and he got to an executive role because he showed up every single day. It's kind of the same thing with me and my areas. I want my social media to work. I want to build my following. I want to build my YouTube channel. I want to do this. I want to do that. I have to show up. People need to know that I'm serious about my stuff.
Yeah. I love that. I love it. So so at year 2, you pivoted and went all in on party.
Yes.
When was it? How long did it take from year 2 to full time for you to be like, I am running a full-time home-based business and making the money to support it?
Okay. So I'm going to say I don't know. It was like, so $3,000 a month was like the where you would consider it full time. Yeah, and it was only because like in my area, I'm sure some people, if they live in California, they're like, that's nothing, right? Or in New York, that's nothing. But where we were living at the time, $3,000 a month was like a decent amount of money, you know? And so at that point, it was like, my son was 3, 4. So it wasn't shortly after I decided to go full-time party is when I started hitting that $3,000 a month mark.
Wow.
I think it was like 4. So like 3.5, 4.
Year 4? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's But if you really think about it, from when you started to when it started hitting that threshold is really fascinating, in my opinion, how quick, like you took off all of any other listing.
Yeah, 2 years isn't, and that was still back in the day when like there was not a lot of sellers on Etsy. Like still, I don't even think people really knew what the website was. You know, it was a lot of like Facebook sales and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was like about like year four.
Year four. That is amazing. I love that. And after you hit full time, like where, how did you kind of decide to start growing your own social media and maybe not rely so much on Etsy? I don't know. Maybe you still do. I have no idea. I'm open. Where do your sales come from today?
Okay, my sales majority come from, well, so that's the thing is you mentioned it. I have two shops or two businesses. So my party decoration shop is mostly on Etsy. And that's where most of and it's like what do you call that, organic ones? Most of my traffic is through Etsy. A lot of the people that follow me on Instagram aren't wanting to buy my party decorations. They're wanting to know how to make the party decorations. So the other side where I actually sell cardstock now, so I have a whole second thing that actually is all through Instagram. So all of I've not paid for any marketing. That's all found through social medias like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
It's amazing. I love it. Now I do have to tell you, Ashlee, at the beginning of the year, we had so many people asking us like, what cardstock do you use? And for the past like 5 years of running this business, I started as a paper crafter, like card maker, like extraordinaire. I knew all about cardstock. And I told my team at the first of the year, I said, we are marrying a brand of cardstock. I said, I don't care. I was like, everybody asked it has to cut the best. It has to be the best. And that's the brand that we're going to marry. And it's going to be our cardstock. And Courtney was like, well, Ashlee, my girl, sells cardstock now and it's supposed to be the best. So I think we just ordered some. I don't even know if she told you, but we just started playing with it and we fell in love with it. We used it all the time. It cuts the best.
Courtney tried to do like a silent order. She like placed the order and I have photographic memory. So like I know your first and last name. I know her first and last name, right? So it like pops up in the order field on Shopify and I'm like, she just placed an order. So I like run downstairs. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, okay. I think she ordered a couple packs. She ordered like 3 packs and a couple swatch books of our plain and our glitter, but she didn't order like our number one.
We love swatch books.
Gold. And so I'm like, told the hubs, my husband, Matt, I was like, you need to put a pack of glitter gold in there because that's like our number one selling product. And he was like, is that it? I'm like, yeah, you don't need to go crazy. Just like put the good one in there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, we have fell in love with it. It cuts.
Oh, did we freeze?
Unbelievable. Like, oh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Everything's
We're
good
frozen.
on mine.
Okay.
Are we? I don't think so. Not on my end. Are you still frozen?
Okay.
Y'all, we are filming on a new platform. I think it'll all work itself out. I think when we upload it or something, it should be fun, hopefully. Okay. I'm not sure. But what happened when we started using the cardstock was we get great cuts every single time. So how in the world did you find and source and create this cardstock? Like, who are you? Like,
want like a backstory to this whole like selling cardstock deal?
Yes, I really do, because I saw I saw one of your Instagram reels and I was like, there's more to the story.
Okay. So there's a little bit like I don't know. I believe in God and I love God. I don't go to church every single day, but I'm not like, I'm not super religious, but I do feel like sometimes he shows up in the craziest manner. So, before COVID, right? That's like now our like line. A little bit before that, my husband was like super miserable with his corporate executive life and he needed a way out. And I think I felt like I kind of maxed out on like how much I could make or how much I could do with my Cricuts. And I'm like, I don't know, but he was so miserable and so something, like he needed out. He needed another thing of life. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do as a wife, but like, I'm going to do something. So then COVID happens, 2020, and a lot of people, it either went two ways. It either was like the worst year ever or it was the best year ever. For me and my family, it was the best year ever. Like March 2020, a wholesale company, Doris, went out of business, got bought out by Michaels and went out of business. And that's where I bought my cardstock wholesale. And there was not another wholesale company. Yeah, there was not another wholesale company in the United States. And I looked at my husband and I'm like, look, I don't know what to do, but if I raise my prices, people aren't going to buy my party decorations. And I don't want to lose out on profit because that's the whole point of business is to make a profit.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, surely you could find their supplier. And so for 6 months, I did a lot of research and a lot of ordering and a lot of this and a lot of that and testing and spent a whole lot of money trying to figure out what was good and what was not good. And then it was November 2020 that we launched the first two colors, which was orange and purple, and they sold out. And then it's been history since then.
This is crazy. Well, fun fact, I used to work for Doris. Did you know that? I was a contractor for them.
No,
I created content for... Yeah. This was back in like 2015. But I used to work for Doris. Such a small world. Like, oh my gosh. Did you ever go to like any like AFCI events, like CHA events like back in the day? You'd have totally been a hit there. Like,
I have like severe social anxiety. I try and stay all on the camera.
Okay. It was a like a trade show for like professionals, and it was so good. That's where I met Doris, and they would always like be vendors, and they were amazing. But I cannot believe that's insane. I think this is such a fascinating pivot for you to be able to expand just like another layer. And now not only do you have personal cardstock, but you've been able to hook people like me and our customers to your paper that is perfect for Cricut. And you'd be the first one to know if anything went south with it, right? Like, because you're using it with like, how many Cricuts do you have back there? Like, come on.
The reason why it took off so well is like I had a business that was using the cardstock, and people are like, oh, well, she's still selling massive amounts of stuff. Her cardstock has to be good. I'm like, it is good. I don't know how to tell people like it is good. I know I'm biased because it's mine and like it supports my family, but like I swear it's really good.
Yeah. I find it fascinating. Now, you've already mentioned your husband, and in 2020, all of you all coming together, and me and Courtney work together very closely here in the business. So how has it been working with your spouse? I've heard you say like he's got to, on a YouTube video, you were talking about how he has like seen the relationship with your kids shift and his personality change. How has it been for you all as a family unit to be all in it together?
I think for a lot of people that it probably is very unconventional the way we do things. The beauty of how we have it all set up is there's still two businesses, and I am upstairs in what I call the craft castle, and I do all my work, and my husband is downstairs in our garage, and he ships all the paper. And so a lot of times our work, like we don't see each other. We go to work. I'm upstairs, he's downstairs, and we don't see each other. So it really works really well. The greatest part about it is I think he has a really good boss. one that like doesn't like harp on him, and so like he gets creative
for
freedom,
sure.
like do whatever. And like I tell him like, hey, this is what I need. And he'll tell me this is what I need. And we're not, trying to, we treat each other with respect. So I think it's been really nice to have him here. And it's like, before I was doing this business and I was by myself all the time. And so at least now I'm like, when I finish a project, I can run downstairs. I'm like, look, oh my gosh. And he's like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think I'm crazy, but I just run back upstairs and,
I love that.
It's been absolutely amazing. And that was all through cardstock.
Wow. Cardstock did it. That's what was able to bring him home.
Yeah, and
that's incredible.
We'll like touch a little bit base on like social media here. When I first launched the cardstock, I had 1,200 followers. So you don't have to have. Yeah. My sister sent me a screenshot and she was like, like a picture of me like holding up my new cardstock. And she was like, look how many followers you had. You sold out. Like you sold out with 1,200 followers. Like you made a business out of 1,200 followers, And like, I think we retired the hubs like right after I got 10,000 followers. So,
wow.
You don't need a lot of following or a lot of people. You just have to show up and be you. And I think no matter what, people will be able to see that like you care about the one follower that shows up and watches you.
Yeah.
And just be you, and they'll be able to see that.
That is incredible. So take me back to the launch real fast and tell me, did you think you would sell out or did you think this would be your stock for like 3 months? Like, what did you really think, Ashlee?
Okay, so small business ownership goes a lot like this. One day you'll sell $800 and you're like, oh, I'm going to eat a steak. I'm going to eat some lobster. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to, I'm going to go plan a vacation. And then tomorrow you make 0 sales and you're like, where's the unemployment office? And unfortunately, that life does not go away. I don't know how many thousands of
the numbers just go up and it like
up. And like I was telling the hubs, like right now with the economy the way it is, whatever, like sales for party decorations has gone down a lot. And I'm like, okay, but there, like I just don't understand. There were days where I did like 1,000 and then there was days that I did like 600, but like there still was like, that was still good days. And then when I like think about it now, it's like there are days where I do 0 and there's days where I do 600. And it's like, wait, those are the same averages. They're just like in smaller numbers, So I know. And actually we have another shipment of cardstock coming in and it's like whole new metallic and iridescent cardstocks coming in. It should be here like mid-April. But like, I still told the hubs, like, what if we don't sell this? I've been doing it for 3 years now.
So you thought you wouldn't sell any of it?
I still, even still to this day, I'm like, will people like it?
Did I just wait? Nobody may buy.
No, nobody. But you know what? The way I see it is like, I'm never going to close my Etsy shop down. So if I don't sell this paper, I am going to hustle
you gotta
my
sell it through Etsy.
I do. I got to start making all that party decorations. Maybe I'll start making cards. I don't even know.
But how long did you think that initial shipment would last you? Because you said you sold out. Like, how long did you think it would last?
I thought it was going to last me for a long time. I told the hubs it was a box of cardstock. So every like box is 100 packs. And so like there was 200 packs of 2 colors. And this is how like not good planning I am either. I bought this cardstock with intention of selling it for like Halloween decorations because they were Halloween themed. No, I got them after Halloween. And
but it's November.
It's November and I got this after Halloween. So I kind of missed the shipment. And I was like, well, that's poopy. I'm going to have this forever. And, I thought I was going to have it for a really long time. Really, really, really long time. So it was like 2 days that I sold out and I was like, whoa.
Oh, 2 days.
Yeah.
Buy 200 packs.
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
That is incredible. I think one of the things that I always remember about you from the first time Courtney told me about you, and you've already touched about you and your husband's working in different places. I have to ask, first of all, you have to tell everyone your work schedule, because I find this fascinating. Courtney always says she gets on Instagram at like 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then she'll talk real fast, and then she's done for the day. And I'm like, this lady is on fire.
I wake up with a lot of energy. I only require 1 cup of coffee, and I'm like ground moving. The whole goal, I did say that like my husband and I both did a ton of work and we put in a ton of hours. And I've grown to realize there's so much more to life than working so many hours. And so our goal, I do not work weekends anymore. It's Monday through Friday. And I get up at 5 and I get into the office. I call my craft castle the office. I get in at 6 and then I'm done no later than 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I want the kids get home at like 3. And so I want like a couple hours to date my husband because we've never like had time alone to like date each other and, and really like create a good friendship. Yeah. And so like we have 2 hours of every single day that we can just like go dink around or do whatever. And then we get to be parents and just do parent things in the evening.
Now, does he also work the same schedule? Like, is he working at 6 a.m.?
Sometimes, like right now we're running a paper sale, so he is up at the same time.
He's got to ship them. He's got to get it all shipped.
The shipping. He does a lot of like the household chores and getting the kids, up and ready and out to school. He does all of that. So like he has enough job duties to fill his days up. So yeah, he wakes up a little bit later than me.
A little bit. Okay, I really don't blame him. 5 a.m. comes so early. I mean, kudos to you. I wake up right now whenever my babies decide to wake up, and that's when I wake up. So sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7:05 like today, which was a glorious day. They wanted to sleep, and it was just amazing.
On the weekends, I don't put an alarm on, and all weekend long, it's like 5 a.m., 5:30.
And you still wake up.
And I'm still like, once I'm awake, I cannot go back to sleep. There's like my mind's like instantly like, what do I do? I got to move. I got to do something. So like, there's not.
Yeah. Right. So for everyone that wants to like grow on social media and, you start with 1,200 followers, you bring your husband in the business at 10,000 followers. What is your philosophy? And it sounds like maybe it's a little bit like mine, just showing up is the secret that so many people don't do. But for you, like, what's the secret to blowing up? Like on Instagram specifically. I didn't look at your TikTok. Are you more popular on TikTok or Instagram?
TikTok's like a whole nother breed. We're not, I do have more followers on TikTok, but like, I don't thoroughly enjoy that social media like I do Instagram. So I really do coddle my Instagram like it is my baby, and I show up every single day there, and I post and run. Or what's it called? Post and ghost. I post and ghost on TikTok. I really try and stay away from that. It's probably terrible for me to say, but I do.
Okay.
So my secret to blowing up is just showing up. That's it. There are people.
Wait, so you don't have a secret growth hack? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think that there are. I started posting these videos of me running these machines, and that does generate like a couple hundred followers every single time I do it. But the more organic ones that come in that I think are the vast majority of my followers, it's just posting. It's just posting every single day. I'm always doing something. You're always doing something. And it's really like, what is it? Like 3 minutes of your day to post on stories or to do like, as I was sitting here waiting for this to start, I was like captioning a post, and it was just a picture of like my kind of ugly corner that I have going on over there, you know? And so I think that's the
Yeah.
secret. And so many people get frustrated, and it's the same thing with business. Like when you're growing a business, you have to show up every single day. You are not going to see the reaps of what you're sowing right away. There is no instant gratification on social media. There's no instant gratification when it comes to small business ownership. It is that you show up every single day, and then eventually it will start coming in and you will start to reap some of those benefits.
Yeah. Ashlee, what has it been like, in your whole entrepreneurship journey, what's been the best part? Like, has there been a part that you're like, oh my gosh, this is it for me. Like, this is my favorite part. Like, what, just for everyone that's like aspiring to start their small business in their own journey, what has it been for you?
I'm going to just reference back to my husband. The best part is that my husband is here. And when people ask like what he does for a living, he's like, I play with glitter cardstock. Or, when people ask me what I do, and I'm like, I'm just a crafter. Like, they're like, no, seriously. I'm like, no, seriously. That's what I do. I just craft. I think that's the greatest
Well, actually,
part.
I'm an engineer. I'm a craft engineer.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know.
People are you're going to start being like looked at totally different.
I hope that other people
Which
also
is gonna be so
look at
exciting.
themselves differently. We as crafters, I don't know, being a social media, just like it being a YouTuber, right? Like, isn't it so weird just to be like, what do you do for a living? I'm a YouTuber. And then there's like this vast majority of people that go, okay, and like it feels kind of weird coming off the tongue as like, I craft for a living. I have a semi big following on social media that kind of makes me a little bit of money. I have a glitter cardstock company and I sell paper stuff. And people are like, yeah, all right. And I'm like, well, for sure, I do.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but I do it.
I just find it so fascinating, all of the ways you can make money online. I've never met anyone that like created their own paper. And like, I've been in this industry for 13 plus years. And like, I never thought about like that thought. Like, that's such a unique thing. And there's always, even as industries evolve, like, you took the opportunity of a distributor going out of business, and instead of saying, I'm going to have to charge higher prices or shut down like selling my paper creations and packs, you took it as a amazing opportunity to serve people like all of us, which I find just so fascinating. And isn't that the beauty of business?
It really is. I mean, it's just amazing. But like, it's that whole saying of like an Eskimo could sell ice. You could sell, as long as you love it. I love my cardstock. So I'm going to just sell my cardstock. The other people might not like it, but I love my cardstock. So I'm going to sell it. And I feel like people can see that and feel that, right? Just like party decorations. Find something you love. And if you love it, it will be shown through the screen. And it's all social media, which is like bananas. We didn't have social. I mean, when you first started YouTube, YouTube was like a very, very small thing. And look what you grew into.
Scary. I mean, you didn't post videos. Yeah, you didn't post videos in 2010. Weird. First of all, I don't even think people made money really. I don't think they made real money on YouTube yet in 2010. Yeah. By 2013, it was becoming normal for the YouTube community to do this full time, but you had to then be in LA, or you had to like be in a big city to like get gigs and like have the productions and things. But no one did it. And I would love to hear your thoughts. I didn't tell anyone that I was online as like a creator really at all locally. Did you tell your friends and family that you were like, that you had a business, like that you posted on social?
No, not really. If they find me, they find me.
See, it's
we had an actual.
Funny,
so your wife, your wife, she's the one who told me to like do YouTube first. Actually, I don't know if she told you this, but she did give me a job offer to work for you. She said, if you want to move to Tennessee,
Ooh.
we have an opening. I was like, no, I think I'm good at the beach. And she was like, well, then you should do your own YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, okay. Why? You know? But
Yeah.
it's just crazy. What was I saying? I've lost track. I thought about your wife and I was like, ooh.
Oh, yes. We were just talking about all the ways that you can make money online. And so you've started a YouTube. So people here on the podcast can go over and subscribe to you. What type of projects can they look forward to on your YouTube channel?
A little bit of everything. I just like my personality. I don't have a script. I don't do anything that I don't know. I just go wherever my heart flows. So it's a whole lot of Cricut because I have a whole lot of Cricuts. I have a laser cutter. So I do teach how to do laser cut files and things of that nature. I do HTV projects and final projects. I don't really like doing them, but my aunt will ask me to do something and I'll make it for her. And I'm like, well, I might as well just record it for content. So I'll do that. But yeah. Oh, what I was going to tell you I started my YouTube channel because of your wife, and I didn't say anything to anyone. My husband's best friend calls him and goes, is Ashlee on YouTube? And he goes, yeah, she started it a couple months ago. And he goes, so she does YouTube now? And he's like, yeah, I guess. And I'm like, oh, that's really weird. What did he think about the video? And he was like, well, he said it was really good. I'm like, ew, tell him not to watch. Don't subscribe to that. I don't know.
I totally relate so hard to that. Anytime someone local says, oh my gosh, I saw your video, I'm like, I'm so sorry. You really shouldn't have watched it. That's honestly the first thought in my head. Someone local is like, I saw you posted this. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you watched. I'm sorry.
I know.
Isn't that funny? That's why we make it for people. But when you personally know someone and when you know someone watched your video, it's totally different.
I don't know. It's just or I have a teenage daughter and all of her friends follow me on Instagram and they're like, oh, your mom did this. And I'm like, whoa, we don't need to watch me. Whoa.
We don't talk about it. We don't need to talk about it.
I post, don't text me that, oh my gosh, you did no. We're gonna pretend you did not see me do that stuff just so I don't have to be oh my gosh.
I know, right? You're the cool mom, though. Everybody these days want to be an influencer, and you're just living it up. I mean, I love the Instagram community you have. I am not big on Instagram. It just stresses me out. I don't know why. I would like to be bigger. I'd like to be on Instagram more, but I just don't really. I'm just always on YouTube. I'm always making videos for YouTube. I'm always live streaming on YouTube. It's just I don't know. I am working on teaching more business that I would really like to have on Instagram. So I think I'm going to work on that part of it. But my crafting will stay pretty much primarily on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, I since starting YouTube, I'm okay, what am I? Am I a YouTuber? Or I'm an Instagrammer? What am I? I'm I don't know. I'm just going to keep posting everywhere and hopefully all the people hopefully all the people love me and they just follow everywhere, I guess.
It's going to be so good. Oh my gosh, Ashlee, thank you so much. I will tell you, I had so many questions planned and we got to hit on every single one of them. So this has been such a fun conversation. Where do you want everyone to follow you? I'm going to link your cardstock. I'm going to link your Instagram and your YouTube. So where do you want them to go first?
That's it. Just go to Instagram. Instagram, if you ever have a question about anything and everything, mostly in my DMs on Instagram. I do show up every single morning besides the weekends. I try not to do much on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, I am always on stuck glued to my phone, absolutely glued to my phone. So any type of Etsy help, if you're looking to open up an Etsy shop and you need questions, You hit me up. I'm a wealth of knowledge. I feel like I'm a wealth of knowledge. I
That'd be
have like
awesome.
20 some odd thousand sales on Etsy now. So I feel like I have a little bit of knowledge on that.
So amazing. A lot. Ashlee has a ton. It's going to be so good. Ashlee, thank you so much for being here and taking your time with us today. I know how valuable it is, and we're so excited. If you've not used Ashlee's cardstock, y'all, you're missing out. Get some cardstock. I'm not paid to say that. I don't even know if we're affiliate for the paper. It doesn't matter either way. We love it, and it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. But thank you so much, Ashlee.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. Be sure to check Ashlee out, and we'll see you back here for another episode of Makers Gonna Learn Unfiltered. Until next time, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for watching a Makers Gonna Learn Unfiltered podcast. This has been such a fun time getting to hang out with you, and I want to make sure to let you guys know you can actually watch this podcast wherever you love to watch podcasts. So whether you want to consume it on Apple, Spotify, YouTube with an audio video podcast, we got you covered. And I want to say thank you for hanging out with us today for another episode. If you guys have any questions, be sure to let us know down below. We are always constantly looking for podcast ideas. So if you have a topic you think we should cover that me or the team would love, drop it down below. If you need anything, reach out to hi@makersgonnalearn.com. And if you have not joined our amazing crafting community, check out makersgonnalearn.com. I will leave you an amazing offer right down below to get you plugged in and get started today. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.